Welcome to the Manly Mythical Story Emporium. I'm your host, Thurston J.Y. Manley, and I would like to thank you for listening because today's theme is oops. Like, oops, I did it again. But you don't try to do it again because that's the definition of insanity. So don't be trying to do it again. Oops, we do it one time, one and done. First story today is Doug who? Second story is what hotel did we get? Those are your two stories for oops. Doug who? And what hotel did we get again? And I'd like to thank those for listening to the podcast so far, following on Instagram, and the supporters that are signing up to support the podcast so we can get recording equipment, so we can record on location because I'm not always at the home at Manly Manor. So like this week is my birthday week, turned 40. So we are recording on location, on vacation for the duration. So I hope you enjoy it. I think the quality is pretty good, up to the standard of the Manly Mythical Story Emporium listeners. And if it's not, please tell me. Send me a note on Instagram, direct message preferably, because I would like some more followers. Don't beat me down too bad. But the stories today are good. Dealing with oops. First story is Doug who? Second story is what hotel did we get again? You will hear these two stories immediately after the advertisement for Anchor. So please enjoy, and then I'm going to wrap it up with like a final thought, probably about turning 40. So enjoy. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Oftentimes, when we think of the word oops, especially if it's a theme for a story, you think of a mistake or sometimes mistaken identity. Now, this happened to me one time that really sticks out, and it goes back to college, as do most of people's oops moments or mistakes probably do. And I was in college for 4 years plus a super senior year. And during my first senior year of college, I had a new roommate, and he was a freshman. And I was already friends with his older sister because she goes to the same college as well. And that instantly made him home team homie. And we rolled tight, and I had a lot of friends that came from different colleges like A&T that was across town because I went to Guilford College, which was a smaller college where you could be more, well, instead of giving you a nice epithet, we're going to say it was more parties there and had more fun. And a lot of times people were less strict, meaning security guards, the general regime of the college. And you can have a lot more fun. So a lot of my friends from A&T would come over. My main friend from there was my cousin Jamel, who was 4 years younger than me and also a freshman. So he would often hang out with us. And then I had a close friend off the football team, A-Gap. And those are your main characters right there. And one night, we had our oops moment because we decided that Doug was our brother from another mother. And we would look out for him. And he was big on campus that freshman year. He was the Figaro in the Marriage of Figaro. So he was pretty popular. And his name would start spreading around our small campus, which if you went to a large high school, it's probably the equivalent of that. And we came back and we began to drink libations. And for some reason, we had lost track of Doug this day. And it was a Friday. It was unusual not to know where he was at. And when we were in the caf during lunch, somebody came up to us and said, "Hey, is Doug all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Doug is fine," not knowing why they were asking. And they said they heard that, we'll call this person Melvin, Maryland, or Melvin for short. He's from Maryland. and we heard that Melvin had punched Doug in the face. We're like, what do you mean he has punched Doug in the face? Why? He's bragging about it. We don't know why he did it, but he punched Doug in the face. So we had to call Doug. Problem. Due to the time period in which I went to college, we did not have Facebook or cell phones. If you did have a cell phone, the best thing you could do on it was play Snake, or basically throw it against the wall, use it in the hallway like a hockey puck, like those Nokia phones. So we tried to call his cell phone, flip phone, whatever he had at the time. Nobody answered. Called his sister. Nobody answered. We needed to know what was going on. We go back. We continue our libations. Preferably at this time, it was some cheap brandy, often referred to as Irk and Jerk, or E&J. And drinking Coca-Cola, drinking more E&J than Coca-Cola, of course. And we're like, we're going to have to get this guy. We're going to have to get Melvin. We're going to have to find out what's going on. But where's Doug? So we're like cross between panicking, worrying about Doug, and slowly drinking and becoming angry mob of three. Like three the hard way for no reason. And we're getting less sympathetic to caring about Doug to more like revenging Doug and beating the mess out of Melvin. And so we knew where the parties were going to be that night. We circle, we find, we look. Now, the funny thing is, I'm already a big fella. The other guy that's with me is often referred to as A-Gap. A-Gap's nickname comes from the fact that he played defensive line. He was the center. He covered the whole A-gap, which is the space between the center and the guard. So he's shaped like a bowling ball, if you will, but more like that bowling ball / boulder that tracked down Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom and ran him over. So that's A-gap. And I'm a big guy. And my cousin Jamel, not so much. Big guy, smaller guy, but scrappy. Like Scrappy Doo attitude. Like he will throw them hands, try Jesus, don't try him type of attitude. And we were looking, and E&J did not help us calm down at all. And we happened to see this Melvin at one of the parties that we were scouring. And Melvin was up there boasting about how he had punched Doug in the face. And apparently he didn't agree with who he was voting for senator, considering both of them were from the Maryland area. And I knew this was going to be a problem, because we were going to have to get him, because he punched Doug in the face. And I felt, even more so with the booze that's running through my system, that I now had to stand up for Doug, and that his sister had put this trust in me, which she fully had not really at all. But the alcohol was telling me we're going to have to hurt him. So we run up on Melvin, we surround him. And the beauty of it is that nobody had cell phones or record. We was like, hey man, we heard you punch Doug in the face. What's your problem? He's like, yeah, I punched Doug in the face. Why do you care? And he says unto me, why do I care? Like, are you serious? Like, cause Doug is my homie. And why would you punch him in the face? He's like, how do you even know Doug? I was like, I go to this school. Everybody knows Doug. And at that moment when I look up, Doug is coming out the back. He's in the same party with this guy, because Doug is from Maryland as well. And they're having a Maryland party, apparently. And he comes out, he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, nothing's wrong. I was like, yo, this dude punched you in the face. He's like, what are you talking about? And I instantly see him put his arm around Melvin. And the reason he does is because we're three big burly, two of us big burly, one small burly, have surrounded this man at a party. So now the music is playing, but nobody's dancing. Everybody's looking at us around this guy on the dance floor. And they go and get Doug and pull him out of the back room. It's like, your friends is about to kill Melvin. Come help me. And this whole time, we thinking Doug, our homie Doug, got punched in the face. Turns out this fool Melvin is bragging about a Doug that he has punched on his trip from Maryland here. One of his friends at home. But because Doug was so popular, somebody else overheard that he punched a Doug. They thought it was our Doug. Turns out, only not Doug. That dude almost got a mud hole stopped over him over nothing. we did have to apologize, probably, but we didn't, because by that time, E&J was taking it over, and we felt offended that he had even mentioned the fact that he had beat somebody up that had a similar name as a friend of ours, which made sense at the time, but now it obviously does not. But oops, Doug who, and we didn't get the last name. So that's what happened. That's oops. My bad, Melvin. Melvin from Maryland. Hope you haven't got a mud hole stopped in you for any other reason. Thank you guys. Oops, what hotel do we get? Oftentimes, we put our children in things that will put some kind of hardship, whether it's time or money or just mental anguish on the family or yourself. And one of the things that our oldest child, often referred to as the boy, enjoys is lacrosse. And he got onto a travel lacrosse team. And one of the things that come along with being on a travel lacrosse team, surprisingly enough, is you have to travel with the team, or just travel in general. And we thought that, me and my wife thought that since he is going to be traveling with this team, we don't necessarily need to be in all the same hotels or maybe go to some of the same restaurants, because financially it's more expensive to go to some of the hotels that they had selected. These are the top tier hotels where we were traveling to, just so your child could be in the same room or hallway as these other children. And I felt like, this is beyond not necessary. So we would find other hotels. And one time, or actually 2 times, separate times, we were traveling for lacrosse, and we were traveling to Charlotte, which is not far away. So we felt, almost any hotel would do, as long as it's clean and as long as it's safe. Or first of all, at least as long as it's clean in some cases, which is the first case. So the first time we were offered to get hotels to go to a traveling event, everybody chose a nice high-end franchise hotel to go to, and half the team were kind of split between these 2 different hotels to use, both with the same franchise. But we said, no, we can find one, and we found one. We looked online, looked at the star rating, found a hotel that was 3 minutes from the location, had a Bojangles right in front of it. We was like, perfect, we can go to this hotel right here and use that one. I don't know why nobody else chose this one. We leave the field, we go get something to eat, we're back in the hotel, we're good. And then we come back the next day. Problem was, the hotel we picked, oh my gosh, we picked a much smaller franchise. It was known for its, similar to the car made as a kid, the Micro Machine. Just to give you a hint at the name, and it has maybe a tail in the name. We picked that hotel to go to, and we went in, looking at it at first. It was just me and the boy, because we were saving money. It was just me and him have to eat, just me and him have to sleep. We're good. So we picked this small hotel. We figured we may even share a bed. It's okay. We can do this. We just need bed, TV, and he just needs to get to the game the next day. We're all right. Walking into this place, loose tiles in the lobby. And anytime you go to a hotel and they give you a warning about the doors or what you should and shouldn't do, you should probably leave that hotel. But we didn't have a choice. This boy was already tired. We've already booked it. And we're still close to the field. And the first thing they warn us is, make sure you don't prop open the doors in the hallway. Not knowing that there was something I would even need to be doing. But I said, okay. All right, I won't prop the doors in the hallway. But it was such an odd phrase I had to ask. I was like, do you mean like the door to my room do you think I'm going to be propping the door to my room? Because my room door opens to the hallway. He's like, oh, no, I mean, not the hallway, the stairwell. Don't prop the door open to the stairwell. You got people that are propping the doors in the stairwell, meaning that they're propping the doors so they don't have to use the key card to get in from the stairwell. So they're just letting random people in through the back of your hotel. You're warning me not to do this because otherwise I would lose my room. Correct. And at that point, you realize you're in the wrong place. But I fought through. I was like, well, at least he's warning them. At least he's telling them, hey, don't just open yourself up to being a victim. You should probably lock your doors and not let random people into your hotel without being checked out. Okay. It's a step in the right direction. Maybe he knows the area better than I do. And this is something that happens. Maybe everybody else in here drinks lead paint. I don't know. But, okay, we fight through that. And I get on the hallway, and the maintenance guy is there. And he's looking at me. He's like, all right, tell us if you have any problems with the toilet. What? Now, he doesn't know what room I'm going to. I'm just walking down the hallway. He's walking down the hallway. He is holding a plunger. But he warned me. Tell him if you have any troubles with the toilet. So that automatically means there's going to be troubles with the toilet. First thing I do, go and check the toilet. I just throw a little wad of tissue in there, flush it. It halfway goes down. It's like, all right, this is going to be kind of a problem. But we'll suffer through. I was like, all right, son, this is what you're going to do. If you don't have to use the bathroom, don't use it. Shower. I'll go across this parking lot, get you some Bojangles, and bring it back. Just don't use the bathroom before I get back, and I'll tell the guy at the front desk. He said, cool. I said, cool. All right, so he showers. I go get the food. I come back, and I was like, hey, the toilet up there is not really flushing. Can you send that guy up? And guy at the front desk says, what guy? I was like, the maintenance guy. The maintenance guy? I don't think he's on. Well, if the maintenance guy isn't on, you do have somebody on the second floor of this wonderful hotel that you have here walking around with a plunger freely. So you got like a freelance plunger here for some reason if you don't have a maintenance guy. He's like, oh, maybe he's working. So now we have a mysterious plunger man walking around, and I still can't prop the door open. So I'm thinking in my head, I've formulated this idea that this man has come in through a propped open door to plunder our toilets with plunging equipment for some reason. It's the Phantom Plunger. And nobody seems concerned but me about this out of this whole hotel. So I was like, okay, send the maintenance guy up. Thinking I'm just tripping. We get it. Son uses the bathroom, flushes it, goes down. It's a little slow, but I can see there may be a problem in the future. So I'm like, all right, we may need some future stays on this. And needless to say, hour later, after I have gone to this front desk and told him I needed the Phantom Plunger to come help me, you know, the plunger of the Queen City of Charlotte, the wonderful, mysterious plumber, the pummeling, plundering Phantom Plumber, to come up there. He comes, and you know what he says to me? Is there something wrong with the toilet? I was like, yes, amazingly enough. It's good, because you're good at guessing. I didn't say you were good at guessing, but in my head, I was like, yeah, it is. There's something wrong with it. He's like, well, here you go. And he hands me the plunger and leaves. In what world does it make sense that a guest should be having to clean or fix a toilet at all times? So he hands me the plunger. I'm in shock, and I guess you can see the shock. He's like, yeah, all this whole hallway is on that same line, so I figured you might have a problem. Have a good night. And he just walks off into the night. The plundering plunger. And I don't know. This was the last time that we got a hotel on our own. From then on, we tried our best to stay with the team. But thank you. And watch out. Not all heroes wear masks. And that Phantom Plunger was not the hero that I asked for. But he is the hero I deserved. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Alright guys, we have reached the end of our episode known as Oops. Not Oops, I did it again, but Oops, we only do it once. Please do not make multiple mistakes. At least not the same mistake. Make as many mistakes as you want. Don't be making the same one. Because one of the things that I learned at the age of 40 is that those mistakes do add up. But besides that, the other thing I did learn is that if you call something a mimosa, you can have it with breakfast. So, champagne, orange juice, mimosa. It's perfectly fine for you to have at breakfast. But when it's your birthday, sometimes you gotta have what I like to call a Compton mimosa, which is a shout out to our legend, our king, our hip hop legend, Snoop Dogg, the LBC, the Compton mimosa, which is gin and juice. So if you have gin and orange juice, you call it a Compton mimosa, it's fine. That is breakfast drink right there. That's the best thing you can have for brunch. Trust me, I have. And I'd like to thank for all our listeners. We're over 100 followers now. We're slowly getting up a lot of plays. But if you could, please go out and support and click the link on Instagram. You can go in there and you can offer to send some money so we can play these podcasts wherever I go and make sure you have the highest quality of podcasts, even on the road. Because like I said, we're not in Manly Manor this week. We're on the road. I'm in the mountains of Tennessee. And the cool thing about the mountains of Tennessee is it's peaceful, it's quiet. I will be able to work on more podcasts here, get some more stories down, and I will bring those to you. The thing that surprised me, there's a lot of black people up here having vacation, doing their thing. You know, we're slowly making it like Wakanda West or East, wherever Wakanda is. Wakanda's in Africa, so it's Wakanda West. In the mountains. It's cool. Enjoying it. And enjoy yourselves this week, guys. I know there's a lot going on with COVID and you're up under people all the time, but I will still continue to give you these stories even after I will be giving story slams in person. I will still try to do this podcast. I will do this podcast. There's no try, only do. And I want you to take that with you this week, guys. No try, only do. Enjoy. No more oops. Enjoy the week. Have a good one. Bye.